then he experimented with being another group called April, and then eventually he evolved into becoming a member of the Deal, and that's when Two Occasions hit. The song
Mm.
called Two Occasions hit and blew them up, and Face began to write more, and eventually he in LA left the scene of the Deal and went to Los Angeles and struck gold, becoming two of the most prolific songwriters in our time.
But at this time, when Kevon and Melvin are saying, "Look, we've got to look at our brother. He's got, he's again signed and stuff." Did it feel a little bit more tangible that the three of you could make it, or was it still what they're doing was different? You were still trying to make it on your own.
Well, at that time, we really weren't really trying to do our own thing. The spotlight was on Face and LA, and what they were doing, we saw the mirage of hit records coming out of Los Angeles, and the acts that they would work with one by one going to the top of the charts. Um, at a point, there was a point when, Face contacted Kevon and told him, hey man, if you and Melvin and your friend Keith, y'all still want to do something, get yourselves together, do a little bit of self cleanup, and pay your bills, say hold on to your dollars. We may have something in the works. Had no idea what that timetable looked like. It was just a word that came back over time. And I'm in Chicago at that time. Melvin's living in Cleveland. Kevon is in Indianapolis, and so we're all doing our own things. So it could happen, might not happen. So it was hard to dream something that you
Mm.
couldn't conceive,
Yeah.
right? And their success, LA and Face's success, was their success. That was their hard work. That was them walking away from the Deal to go out to Los Angeles and sell their sound. It's just the perfect timing of things.
Hmm.
It's simply, more simply, the way God works
Hmm.
uh, in the total picture of things, because everything that Face was doing while we were just at college, he was paving a way that laid the foundation and the railroad tracks for us to ride through the doors to get in to get a record deal. I mean, heck, we got a record deal with Virgin Records, sight unseen, unheard.
Wow.
So Virgin Records didn't know what we looked like. Wasn't no demo tape. Okay, it wasn't a traditional thing. So, we were looked at primarily off of the success of Face in LA. And at
Mhm.
this point, they had more than a dozen or 2 dozen number one records
Mhm.
around the country. So it was a good bet for Virgin Records to, hey, bring your brothers. You got brothers? Bring them. We'll sign them. So but when
Yeah.
they got there, the proof was in the pudding, and it paid off.
Had you finished college? Did you finish
No, I,
college?
I didn't finish college.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm probably maybe 8, 10 hours short of
Oh, but what
graduating.
happened? Why did you stop instead of while you were
Well,
still
I
waiting for
went
face?
by the time I left IU, when I got home, my mom was like, "Hey, you need to get a job."
Oh,
So I started out working at a finance company, and that was in Indianapolis. And then I decided to interview with some more companies. I got hired with a claims adjusting company, and they relocated me to uh,
Chicago.
Chicago, but they sent me to Atlanta for training, and then they sent me to Chicago to work. And I would end up staying in Chicago for multiple amount of years. But while in Chicago, you know, I was always a little mover and a shaker and a networking king all
Hmm.
the way through high school and college. So a couple of my friends went to IU that were from Chicago. So when I finally went to Chicago, of course, I hooked up with them, people who went to IU from Gary, Indiana, that
Mm,
whole little region they called it.
mm,
So my friendship circle was kind of big. Those kids were all second generation of parents who had done great things in Chicago politically,
mm,
financially, business wise. And so, probably 3 years into my stay in Chicago, we end up uh, winning a award to put a vendor uh, ship in O'Hare Airport. So myself and two other partners, you know, I'm a little kid from Indiana. Chicago is a city that works. Okay, mucho money, but Chicago is also the place where it ain't about how much money you got. It's who do you know?
mm,
And these friends that I, developed friendships with from back at Indiana University had relationships, and we were able to get a business. It was a muffin business, but we had the location was so incredible, and we had a 6 year run out there at O'Hare Airport. And Mayor Daley was the Daley at that. He was the mayor at that time, Mayor Daley, and we got in stamped approval by Daley. But we, at the end of the 6 years, we had to move out because we didn't have a political relationship with him. But we got in under him. So, like I say, it's a city that works. Who do you know? That kind of a thing, and it was a great run, great run, great opportunity. So, the business acronym certainly got used.
So it feels as if though that you from the time you met Kevon to the time you got signed by Virgin, how many years was that then?
We got signed. We got talked about in '87, I believe, and then we signed in '89 and moved to Los Angeles. So probably from the time I met Kevon, probably maybe 5 years, 6 years,
Okay.
something like that.
Well, so it wasn't just like an instant stuff. So when you're in Chicago and he's back in
No,
Minneapolis, you're still keeping in touch.
we're still keeping in touch. Everybody's doing their own thing. Um, we aren't living a life thinking that we're getting in the music business. There's, now I could probably say that because Kevon and Face, you know, were rather close, and
Mm,
Kevon always wanted to support Face as a singer. So their kinship was probably closer than Melvin's and Face's in reference to communicate. But Kevon and I were still tight communicate from Indiana to uh, Chicago.
mm.
But it wasn't like we calling every day finding out what's going on. You doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and Melvin's way over in Cleveland. Melvin was working with Eric Fairman and over there with the Dash Band. So, he was still dipped in music, but he wasn't doing his own thing.
Okay.
But Face knew that we had a sound because we had recorded some demos
Mm,
for him when all he had was a 4 track recorder. He could make the 4 track into 8. So
mm,
he was a genius at that. But we recorded some songs that some of them were presented
mm.
to Solar Records, and I think a couple of them became records that were sung by other acts that
Okay.
he had wrote. So that's where I think he knew.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of
Age and somewhere in between.
Us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on
4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you okay?
They don't understand what Joseph Boys and winning all
Play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.